The 2024 Mount Everest climbing season has come to a close, marking the end of an eventful and challenging year for climbers and expedition teams. The season, which began in late March, saw a significant number of climbers attempting to reach the summit of the world's highest peak, with a total of 421 foreign climbers obtaining permits to climb Everest. This number is slightly lower than the previous year's record of 479 permits. Despite these challenges, the season saw a remarkable number of summits, with around 600 climbers reaching the top of Everest, including 200 foreigners. This includes both local climbers and foreign climbers who obtained permits to climb the mountain. Tragically, the season also saw 8 fatalities, including 6 on Everest itself. The deceased included climbers from Nepal, Mongolia, Kenya, and Romania, as well as a local guide who died in a hospital after falling ill on the mountain. The season's fatalities were a sobering reminder of the risks and dangers involved in climbing the world's highest peak.
Hi everyone, this is Sabina Pasha and I am here with a brand new episode with Sabina Connects. This episode is so special to my heart because it is about a couple who did not give up on their dreams after their children grew up and started living their own life. They started from the very scratch of their passion, have trekked all the way to the base of Mount Everest, and I think I could not be more proud of saying that they're from my country, Pakistan. The most phenomenal part about them is that they started their dreams and started exercising and biking and doing all those fitness regime to climb that mountain after their 50s. Let me take you to Feroze and Aamira, my icons and my superheroes for this episode. I think it's the greatest pleasure to be able to sit with them and ask them about how it all started. This is Aamira and this is Feroze, and they have just climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. And tell us, how did it all start?
Well, actually, the idea was not to conquer any mountains, but to conquer our fears. So obviously, we didn't summit the peak. We went up to the base camp, which is about 5,300 meters, pretty high. Actually, it started in 2019 when I had retired. My wife was obviously still working, which she is still working. And we went to base camp Nanga Parbat, which is about 3 to 4 days track. And it also involves a route which is cut through the mountain and apparently regarded as one of the most dangerous. It's a beautiful sight. I mean, it's worth seeing. The only issue, of course, is unlike if you go to a place like Everest, the facilities are not that great.
Where are you both from and how it all began? And, it came up to this level, Aamira?
We are both from Karachi.
Okay.
And born and brought up in Karachi. I traveled a lot because my father was in PIA. So it was a very good experience to go to different countries and see the culture and settle down there. And finally, when I got married to Feroze, in 1982, we discovered that we both had a passion for traveling. And after we had our children, and when they left us, that's actually when we really discovered each other again.
Yes.
And
empty nesters.
The empty nesters. Yes. And we started working out together, and we thought that's a very important part in our life, so we follow that regime very strictly.
And Feroze, you just wanted to climb a mountain after that training, or did you it just was an epiphany?
No, it just so happened in 2019. We thought that because we have a very rigorous exercise regime, we may be able to do it. And we were able to do it. So as I said, the next one was on the list, K2, but because of COVID, we couldn't do it. So this time, as I said, instead of K2, we decided on to Everest. It's 11-day trek up to there.
Okay.
And it also includes 2 days of acclimatization. Now, the way acclimatization works is that you reach the place. The first acclimatization is at Namche Bazaar, which is 3,500 meters. So you spend the night, and then next morning they take you to a small hill, another about 500 to 600 meters. So you climb up there, stay there for a couple of hours, and then come back. So it's basically climbing up at top and sleeping at a lower level.
Okay.
That is acclimatization. The next was at 4,200 meters.
At Lopuche.
And after that climb, when we came back and we had to have lunch, I didn't feel anything. So as I sat and just took the first thing, and then suddenly I felt that I would throw it up. And then from there on, it was just impossible for me to have food. I wasn't feeling hungry. It was a very strange feeling I can't even describe, except that I just couldn't have food. Greatest challenge, of course, is because of the mountain sickness, because that was always at the back of my mind when we went there. And it can happen to anyone, irrespective of your fitness level or your age. I did have an attack, and that was at around 4,200 meters. Fortunately, the only symptom I had was that my appetite completely disappeared. So for the next 3 days, I continued to climb without any food whatsoever. Even water with electrolytes, I couldn't drink. So it had to be just plain water. And that's, again, one of the symptoms. Now, in extreme cases, it can easily turn into pulmonary or cerebral edema, which is fatal. And it requires immediate rescue operation to be able to come down to around about 1,000 meters, not more than that, and immediate hospitalization. Fortunately, and that was one of the reasons why we opted for Everest, that there are a number of commercial operators who operate rescue helicopter service. So at least we were to a certain extent assured that there would be, in case of something like that happening.
Did you panic when you got that,
I did panic because it could have gone worse. The guide that was with us, he daily checked my oxygen saturation level through the oximeter. And it had come down to around 85, which at sea level is not that great. But at that level, he said 85 is perfectly all right. So he said, I will continue to observe you, and if any other symptoms develop, then it is possible that we may have to turn back. At Gorakshep, I thought that I may not be able to do it, because by that time, almost 3 days without any food whatsoever. So I told Aamira, you go ahead, go along. I don't think I can do it. But she encouraged me. The guide also encouraged me. And he said that at this last stage, if you abort it, then you will regret it for the rest of your life.
I mean, I want to tell, especially the women of Pakistan, that age is just a number, and it is so important to look after your well-being, your health, जो कि हमारी ख़वातीन बिल्कुल नहीं करती. वो घरदारी में इतनी मसरूफ़ हो जाती हैं कि वो समझती हैं कि बस यही मेरी ज़िंदगी है. बट आप एक conscious effort करें. If you tell everyone this half an hour is mine, then why wouldn't the family give it to you? I mean, we could never imagine in our life, especially I'm turning 60, Feroze is 71, mashallah, and we never thought we'll be able to accomplish this. Like Feroze was telling you about the trek, I got sick the first day, and I was so sick that we thought that we'll have to return back on that was the start of our trek. But our guide and people around us were so amazing. Yes. And they told me that it was a case of a severe migraine attack and dehydration. But I started my altitude medication on that day, and I continued for 14 days till we finished. And I think that motivation, as I told you, ek diwangi si thi. Or, when I was trekking on the mountains all the time, I was just looking up in the sky and at the mountains and thanking Allah for bringing us so far, and thanking him that what are we? We are just, a mere being. And I think the mountains did something to me as far as my soul is concerned. It was just an amazing feeling to be
You give
there.
me goosebumps. And there's this saying of Rumi that when you become a nobody, you become everything. He opens the doors of, so much that you are, and he's given you a bit of his energy. So when you said, I'm just,
I'm just
nothing,
a
I'm just
mere
not,
being.
he just showed you exactly what all you can
And
accomplish
we were
with that faith and with that passion.
absolutely. I mean, we weren't together all the time because everyone had a different pace. And when I was alone, and that's what I used to think, that what are we? That I think sometimes your soul is searching for that kind of contentment, and I think I got that there.
In Pakistan, I think this thing has to be brought to attention.
I mean, we would love to encourage tourism in our country. क्यों नहीं करना चाहेंगे? Out of the 13 highest peaks, we have 5 in Pakistan.
Of this session as well, that our own country has so much, and there can be so much done over there. So utilize our assets, utilize our people, and take inspiration from the superheroes. With another episode with Sabina Connects.
Haider Ali Atish, the famous poet of yesteryears, in one of his ghazal has included the following verse. Safar hai shart musafir nawaz pohtere, hazar ha shajare sayadar rah mein hai. I'm sure if he knew about Everest, he would have rephrased it a bit. So to clear the misconception of over 150 years, I thought I should make some suitable adjustment to it. So here it is. इस सफर में तो सिर्फ पत्थर ही राह में थे, वो शजरे सायादार तो शायद हवा में थे, हमने तो शर्त सफर को पूरा भी कर दिया, आतिश के वो मुसाफिर नवाज किस जहां में थे। लेकिन हमें इन सहारों की जरूरत नहीं रही, जब इतने हसीन मंजर अपनी निगाह में थे, चेहरे पे धूल, पांव छालों से शल थे, लेकिन ये जख्म तो आगे बढ़ाने के लिए थे। इतनी शदीद ठंड में चलना मुहाल था, ये बर्फीली हवा नहीं, झोंके बादे सबा के थे। बेगम के साथ सफर कुछ आसान हो गया, वरना तो ये पहाड़ ऊंचे बला के थे। कई बार दिल ने वापसी का कष्ट कर लिया, मगर हौसले बुलंद मेरे हम नवा के थे। ये सफर तो वक्त था 70 साला के नाम का, फिरोज इस मुसाफिरत में असर तो सबकी दुआ के थे।